You're playing PUBG one day and you just can't seem to get a single win. You've been matched with a 10-year-old player that keeps yelling at you over voice chat how terrible you are and that you should probably yeet yourself IRL. Worst, you seem to be getting stuck in matches with him, humiliating one-shot kill after one-shot kill. After what must be your 10th or 15th headshot by this middle school online bandit, you start suspecting that he's cheating. Sure enough, your worst suspicions are true, and when you realize he's using an aimbot, you log off in disgust. When you push away from your computer though, something strange happens. You take a bite out of your peanut butter and jelly sandwich and it tastes like chicken. You take a sip of a soda, tastes like chicken. You bite a chunk of your desk and, you guessed it, tastes like chicken. It's then you realize with growing horror that your entire life is a lie, and you've been living inside the Matrix this whole time. Even more terrifying, your door gets blasted off its hinges, and guess who it is? Your 10-year-old online buddy, who's figured out how to hack an aimbot in the Matrix, and now he's after you. So you've taken the blue pill by accident and realized that your whole life is a lie and you live in an imperfect digital reconstruction of the late 1990s world run by machines who use human bodies as batteries because we blotted out the sun with nuclear weapons hundreds of years ago. Oh, and your PUBG 10-year-old cheating tormentor is after you now, replete with his aimbot hacks. How are you going to survive this? Well, you could try and appeal to the system administrators of the fake real world and report this annoying little cheating and verbally abusive preteen for hacks, but that's probably not going to get you very far as the machines are still busy trying to figure out how to not make everything taste like chicken. You're on your own on this one, and sadly for you in your Matrix reality, Neo is not a moody, attractive, in a weird sort of off-putting way Keanu Reeves. It's a mean-spirited, spoiled brat 10-year-old. To defeat this enemy, you have to know your enemy. An aimbot is basically nothing more than a hack that assists players who are terrible at video games. Aimbots were notorious in the early days of online computer gaming, when game developers assumed the best of humanity and took few, if any, measures against cheating. That lasted until about 2 p.m. of the first day of online multiplayer gameplay, and developers quickly realized that humans are the devil, and we can't have nice things because we not only break them, we actively want to break them. Initially, aimbots were pretty obvious. Players would basically just move their character forward and the aimbot would automatically aim the weapon at the nearest enemy player, typically aiming straight for the head so as to get one-hit kills. Aimbots were typically coupled with trigger bots, so that as soon as an enemy player was in the targeting reticles and there were no obstacles in the way, the trigger bot would automatically fire the equipped weapon. Eventually, though, this type of online cheating became quite obvious, and developers started laying down the ban hammer with the might of Thor himself. After players became banned for cheating, all video game players of all ages realized that cheating was bad and unsportsmanlike, and instead of craving the need to feel like an elite in a digital world and inflate their ego due to their shortcomings in the real world, all video game players agreed to never cheat again. Just kidding, people just started cheating more and more intelligently. Initially, aimbots were pretty easy to spot, especially in spectator mode, as the cheating player would constantly have their orientation turned toward the nearest enemy player, even if that player was on the other side of a wall or otherwise opaque barrier, and in no way detectable under normal circumstances. Aimbot developers thus had to get smarter and make their bots less obvious. Aimbots thus started to work with varying levels of effectiveness, and would generally not turn toward an enemy player until that player was sharing the same space as the cheating player. This helped mask the fact that an aimbot was in use. Aimbots could be further toned down and simply activate when the cheating player aimed in the general direction of an enemy player, and when the aiming reticles got to within a certain parameter of the target, the bot would take over to deliver highly precise fire. Trigger bots underwent much of the same evolution, all in a bid to stay under the radar. Right now, you can find aimbots for every major FPS out there, and many which are pay-per-download and make some very shady promises about their effectiveness. It's likely that most of those are traps, waiting to infect your computer with ransomware or other malware. And you know what? If you're willing to pay money to cheat, you totally deserve it. Unfortunately for you though, your 10-year-old tormentors acquired an aimbot in your digital reality. How are you going to defeat this aimbot? We suppose you could try to appeal to the digital authorities. After all, if your world is a Matrix construct, then there's bound to be real life, well, you know, real to you, admins, whose job it is to make sure people don't hack themselves into being glittery vampires or superheroes. Chances are that there's some pretty serious anti-cheating protection measures running already, as the entire point of the Matrix is for machines to use us as unwitting batteries by making us believe we're living in the real world, while our bodies provide the power for them to compute pi. Seeing some guy randomly activating an invincibility hack and swimming in lava is definitely going to start tipping people off to the actual reality of their environment, and that's something the machines don't want. So go ahead, open up a support ticket and see if you get a response. We have no idea how you do that though, but we do know that if you start looking for guys dressed in all black leather with black sunglasses, you're gonna start drawing the attention of machine security pretty quickly. Once Mr. Smith shows up at your place, just explain what's going on. A trash-talking pubescent child is threatening to headshot you from maximum range, and that's totally unfair. The machines might listen and ban your tormentor for life from the Matrix, which we're pretty sure means that his real-life body is disconnected and he's flushed down a tube for recycling into the white goo that feeds and sustains all of humanity. Yeah, you didn't think about that, did you? Rewatch all 3 Matrix movies and tell us in what part you saw the machines raising cattle or tending crops so that they could feed their humans. It's people. Everyone everywhere is being force-fed dead humans via feeding tubes. Remember when your grandparents passed away? That was lunch. Sadly for you, your cheating aimbot hacker is 10 steps ahead of you and he's already sniped all the Agent Smiths you were looking to for help. He's hacked the system. He's literally Neo. The machines have no chance. They say if you can't beat them, join them, so it's time to start cheating. Another insidious tool of cheaters worldwide is known as artificial lag. Basically, when you lag out the stream of data coming from your computer to the server, or between players' computers, it's either slowed down or completely interrupted. Typically, this is a huge annoyance, but for enterprising cheaters, it's a massive opportunity. By installing a lag switch, players can purposefully disrupt their upload from their computer to the server, while on their side, they queue up actions that they want to perform as soon as the upload is re-established. Once the switch is deactivated, the player's computer sends instructions to the server on what the player wanted to do, and the server executes those actions, leaving other players unable to respond. If you're another player, you might see the cheating player appears to be teleporting, speeding up, or might just become invisible or invincible, as where they're supposed to physically be as represented by the game client is not where they actually are. This lets cheating players easily outmaneuver non-cheating players. Cheating is pretty scummy and something only people with small egos typically do so they can feel better about themselves in a digital world. Today though, you're gonna have to become a cheater to beat a cheater. You're gonna have to find the nearest Morpheus-like character who's trying to set minds free from the Matrix. Shouldn't be hard to spot. Remember to look for black leather and black sunglasses. When he asks if you want to take the red pill or the blue pill, say neither, because saving humanity is not your thing. And you'd rather stay jacked in and have dead grandparents force-fed to you than live in the real world, which is basically just living in squalor in a cave deep underground, while machines try to murder you every day. No thanks. Instead, ask for a quick bit of specialized code, a lag switch, something you can throw on the fly and have it disconnect you from the Matrix for just a second before re-establishing your connection. Modern anti-cheating measures typically automatically log a player off if their connection's interrupted for too long, forcing you to re-log into the game entirely to rejoin your match. However, if you keep the interruptions to a minimum, you can get away with digital murder, which is exactly what you want. Now, when your tiny tormentor comes trying to trash talk and aimbot you to death from impossibly far away with a starting pistol, you're gonna surprise him by throwing your lag switch. His aimbot will recognize that your character isn't logged in and not activate, and he'll be left panicking as he has to manually shoot at you as you randomly teleport toward his location. Then just get behind him and do what you came to do: murder a child in a digital world for trash talking. Alternatively, you could just take the blue pill and when you wake up in your pod in the real world, just start tearing open the other pods and punching every 10-year-old you find in the face. How would you defeat a real-life aimbot? If our world isn't a digital simulation, why do so many things taste like chicken? Let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, check out one of our other awesome You vs. matchups and shoot us your suggestions for what to take on via our website. Plus, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more great content.